happens, it happens. Did you guys all get your handouts? Yes and no. You know, there was a chicken lady who kept chickens inside the house. Now that is crazy. So I'm not that crazy. Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys for being here. My name is Katie Greco. I pretty much know 90% of you, but hope to get to know you all better. Let's start with a word of prayer. And so let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we just are so grateful for all that you've already provided for us, Lord, and we just are so blessed to be in a community, Lord, of believers who love each other, Lord, who want to invest in each other and to be able to work with our own hands and provide for ourselves, and maybe as well as those in need for their basic necessities as well, Lord. So we just pray that you'd bless our endeavors and bless this time together in Jesus' name. I just want to read a couple of verses real quick. Ephesians 4:28. He who has been stealing must steal no longer, but must work, doing good with his own hands, that he may have something to share with the one in need. And 1 Thessalonians 4:11 and 12 says, make it your ambition to lead a quiet life. You should mind your own business and work with your hands, just as we told you, so that your daily life may win the respect of outsiders, and so that you will not be dependent on anybody. And I know we all need to depend on each other. We can't be totally independent, but there are ways to take care of things for yourself. One way to be independent for my husband and I, Tony, I don't know, do you guys know who my husband is, Tony Greco? No? Yeah, you do. Yeah, we have had to get our shops plowed, and we open early in the morning, and, you know, if you don't have a dependable plow driver, you can't open, and so we got a plow truck, and now we do it ourselves. So with food insecurity, the way it's headed and the shortages, we can't depend on that. So it's wise to start to look into your own food security. So that being said, I have been raising chickens for 15 years. This is my 16-year-old as a little one with our first set of chickens. We started with 4 in a little coop in the side yard that Tony built from scrap wood. Here's a couple of them. There's our daughter, Lauren. Look how cute. And you wouldn't believe how resilient chickens are in cold weather. You really don't need to give them heat in the winter as long as you give them a nice, tightly sealed coop. Here's the chickens I have today. Dust bathing. Can I have a show of hands? Any of you already keep chickens or have had chickens? Awesome. You guys can jump in when I don't have the answer. Cool. Were you guys all raising for eggs or meat? Both? Wow. Amazing. They slaughtered 40 meat chickens for the YouTubers. That's great. My aunt in Idaho also does that. She's got a lot of freezers, and she rotates, and that's great. Awesome. What part of town are you in? Irwin Lake, me too. Me too. Okay, great. I just raise chickens because I love birds. They're my pets. I hold them, cuddle them, talk to them. They entertain me. If you have young kids, they love them. They're fun. They're so fun. And very low maintenance. I hope you don't have any reservations about getting chickens. Just do it. Just do it and try. Just jump in with 2 feet. So this is how I order my chickens, mypetchicken.com. I do not raise them from the eggs. I don't have experience with that. But you can order them online, pick your breed, or you can just say, I want hardy chickens that lay blue eggs, and they just give you, and it's cheaper that way if you don't pick your breeds. They'll just, whatever hatched that day, they're all within a day or 2 of being born. They survive really well in the male. It's amazing. They're very hungry and thirsty when they get here. Is this a video? Okay, here's my video. Imagine your son and daughter opening this little present. It's too fun. Right? Okay. So this is my side yard, and my tough shed is holding our birds right now. But before that, we had a smaller one that was on wheels, so a tractor type, which I love if you're just starting out and you want to do 4 chickens. But raise your hand if, like, you're doing more than 4 chickens or want to do more than 4. Everybody? A few of you. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through. I don't like the coop too close to the house because when they lay, they make a lot of noise. They're like very proud of laying their eggs. I do like to let them free range because it gives them entertainment, joy. They like to lay in the dust and bathe. And so if you don't ever free range them, you want their run to be nice and large. They're very low maintenance. You can leave town. We go away for a week, and we have chicken sitters, and they'll collect the eggs, but we'll have it full of food and water, so they don't even need to do anything but check the levels. So here's our run. We attach to the side of the tough shed. This is my show and tell. I just wanted to show you the latch. And then we have 2 feeders. We added a second one because we don't ever want to run out and have them get a little hungry. We have an automatic waterer. We ran water to our run. Makes our lives easier. That's oyster shell, which makes their eggs strong, and grit to help them digest food because they don't chew their food. They peck it, and that's how it grinds up in their stomach. You want to make sure in their run that they have cover away from the sun. They do like to sit in the shade a lot. Also, you want to use not chicken wire because our critters this is how, if you get trapped in your coop, that's your way out. I've been trapped in the coop before, but I had a cell phone on me, so that was good. And there's the latch. I bought a little lock because what I found is sometimes even when it was shut, the wind would blow it open, and I'd be like, why are my chickens all in the yard? That's crazy. So this is what I like to call the chicken palace. We put a porch on it, a window box. Now these guys were born in February of this year. They're a lot smaller. They're almost ready to integrate with the adults. So we're keeping them in the storage side of the shed. So there's a divider to the right, and that's my storage area. I have all my chicken supplies in there. I keep my food in trash cans with a sealed lid. I always have chicken treats on hand if I need to lure them back to their run after they've been free-ranging and they don't want to go back in. A thermometer, I've never had it get too hot in there, though. There's plenty of ventilation. It's really important that they are not too moist. Oh, and this is so Pinterest. The doors were made with little antique spoons, and we drilled them on for handles. And then we put AstroTurf for their bedding in there, but you can do pine shavings or straw. And they love their nesting boxes. You only need one nesting box per every 4 birds, but we doubled that. We like to give them a lot of room, a lot of space. And they're the babies. Now, I just opened that center door, and they're commingling, the adults and the younger ones. Here's some of the baby food, baby water, and the baby food's in a separate bin. They start with a starter feed, and then you move to a grower feed, and then as adults, they're on layer feed. The layer feed helps them lay and produce a lot of eggs. I tell you, these birds give me an egg every day without fail. They are like great, unless they're molting, which they molt twice a year, and some of them lose a lot of feathers and look really ugly. Look at this one. She is my darling. She cannot see very well because of her fluffy top head, but look how cute she is. She lets me carry her around everywhere. A silky. Is it a Chinese? Oh my gosh, I love they feel like silk, literally, and they're so cute. I feel like white chickens, though, are more susceptible to being snatched by a coyote. FYI, they're like super bright, and the coyote will go for them first. So this is the separate gate between the adults and the babies for now, but the babies are going to get kicked out. I'm going to, this week, put them on the roost up high. There's a lot of roosts in there. I gave them a lot of options, but under the roost, I have a plastic bin catching their droppings, and we clean that out more often than all of the bedding. And this is an Tough Sheds come insulated, by the way. That is insulation. I put curtains, yeah. I put curtains on my nesting boxes. That one has some pine cones in it because one of my girls was really broody, and she just wanted to stay in there at all times, and so we had to kick her out. No rooster. They're loud, and I wanted to be respectful of my neighbors. One thing before you get started is to check your city ordinance on how many you can have per how large your lot is. I went on the city website. There's Tony. He's watching the birds while doing some work on the laptop. So they make you get outside. It's nice. I couldn't find the city ordinance. You could call the city, but here's what I recommend doing. Talk to your neighbors. Tell them your plan. Get a feel for how they feel about it. You might even get a chicken sitter out of it. But if you want to keep a rooster, you probably don't want to put it right by their bedroom window. They will not like that. But ours is really far. That's the forest. So we have coyotes just pacing back and forth all day long. So we really have to be out there with them if they're not in the run and they're outside like this. As you know, we have coyotes, bobcats, raccoons. The raccoons are vicious. Yes. Yes. Oh, it's horrible. That's why you got to have that, what is it called? The smaller hold of some hardware cloth. Thank you. Because they can reach that chicken wire and grab your chicken by the neck and pull half their body through that tiny, it's just horrible. It's a bloodbath. So please don't use chicken wire on the outside of your run. Also, on the run, I buried the fiber cloth 6 inches to the ground, underground, and then out another 6 to 12 inches because the critters, they'll start to dig and see if they can get under there. So unless you've got a moving situation that moves from one place to another, it's the safest way. And we also have ground squirrels that love to run in and steal your feed. So, one time we, left the run door open and we came back and this squirrel, it was literally like in a cartoon, had its arms up, sitting in the feeder, kicking back like it's in a jacuzzi. Like it was just in hog heaven, eating our feed. So this we've got 13 birds, but if I wanted more, I could really take over the whole. Like they really only live on the left side where the window is, and that's plenty of room. I'm just going to kick all the babies out to the left. Okay, and I love blue eggs and brown eggs. So I mostly got breeds that lay blue and brown eggs. I don't know why, I just think they taste better. Okay, so you order them from My Pet Chicken. They're adorable. And you just have to have all your supplies before they get there. We had bought a gun safe, and we took the box. This is not it, but we filled it with pine shavings, a waterer, this feeder, and a brooder, which you'll maybe see. Oh, just kidding. It's not in this picture, but it all fit in the box. But they need a lot of room. So they were in my living room for a couple months. So I got them in February. I knew I wasn't going anywhere for a while for the winter. And they get something called pasty butt. And so you have to just make sure that they don't get clogged with a little wet, warm paper towel. Just have to mother them a little bit. But they're fun. Okay, let's talk about other options for coop. This I found on Amazon, oddly enough. I don't know if you want to go this route. It's kind of expensive. It's almost $2,000. But you get the idea. Tractor Supply. That sounds good. I love Tractor Supply. But you could just access the eggs really easy. That is very helpful. What I failed to mention in the video is that at sunset, the birds put themselves to bed. They go roost, like even before the sun goes down. They're really cute. But you got to shut their door, because I don't trust that a raccoon or a coyote can't get into their run at night. So we would go out there every night and shut it manually. Well, we bought a automatic chicken door that opens and closes with the sun. It's been a lifesaver. That's how we leave town. They let themselves in and out. They have food and water. All the people who watch them for us get the eggs and eat them, and just make sure that the water doesn't look dry. We have backup water to the water feeder in case something happens with that. There's always a backup. But this is really cute. You know, sunlight helps them lay more, so the more sun throughout the day, the better they lay. So in the winter, it just reduces a little bit. This medium coop, it said, I believe 10 chickens could be in about a 4x4x5. It's a little tight, but it's doable, so you really don't need a whole ton of space. You would be surprised. And it says that it assembles in less than 60 minutes, which is kind of cool. You're shaking your head, no way. Yeah, it's a pipe dream. Okay, here's one of my birds. They're so cute. Uh-oh, are we at the end? Okay. So, let's see. Oh, chicken behavior. They do a lot of funny things. They're very entertaining. They have a pecking order. There's usually one that gets pecked on the worst. But if you watch them, I have this one low man on the totem pole. She always puts her head in there first. Like, me first. And then the other chickens peck the neck, and she's lost a lot of neck feathers. And I'm like, well, you deserve that. You're so, me first. But it's natural. But if you see a lot of aggressive behavior, they need more to do, like treats to eat, more free-ranging, more space. So you just keep an eye on that if one of them's really getting picked on. I actually took the one who was getting the feathers pecked out and held her for a while, and then I would separate her, like, you just go dust bathe over there. And now she loves me. They all come out, and she just wants to sit next to me. It's really cute. Then dust bathing helps their feathers not to get diseases and flies and things. You want a real dry environment, and that's how they bathe. You don't wash them. They do it themselves. And if you're not free-ranging them and they're not dust bathing around your yard, you can put some fresh dirt in their run and they'll dust bathe in there. Some people take an old tire and fill it with a little bit of fireplace ash, which is really good for their feathers. You can put just dirt from the yard, and they love it. It gets really dusty in their coop. We have this method that has saved us. It's called the deep litter method. You take pine shavings and you at least give them 4 inches thick to walk around on, and it's really dry. So their droppings dry and mix as they walk. So some coops are smelly. It might be because they're not doing it with enough of the bedding inside. So I prefer pine shavings. Some people use pine needles. That's not recommended. I heard that isn't good. Not sure why. But let's see. What else do we need to talk about? Diatomaceous earth is excellent. Food grade. So not like playground sand. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh. Okay, so for the people online watching, diatomaceous earth on the bottom, in the run or in the coop? Both. Okay. Yeah. There's so many different ways people do it. I have heard of that. I've never done that. Yeah. And so diatomaceous earth with pine shavings. All this stuff can be bought at your local feed store also. Food grade. Right, right. No, that's really bad for them because they do peck and ingest a lot of things. So you have to make sure it's safe. Um, Also, let's see. Yeah, chicken diseases, like they can get mites. If they have any injury where blood is present, chickens see red and they peck at it. So you can buy this thing called Blue Coat, and you spray it on, and it turns it dark blue, and it is like an antibiotic healing spray, and the chickens ignore it. Like they won't aggravate it. So you have to have that on hand. What else what do you guys keep on hand for your chickens? What do you keep on hand for medical emergencies? Blue Coat? Okay. You can get a chicken first aid kit I saw on My Pet Chicken, which is kind of fun. If you get chickens mailed to you and they're babies, you can get packages of electrolytes. Highly recommend that. They need water. Like, you cannot skip a day with water. You have to be careful that they always have plenty of water. But yeah, I mean, just go for it. Do it. Do it for the eggs. Do it for the meat. Just whatever. If you want to just pet them or just send the kids out to collect the eggs, it's fun. And then you have to look up all the egg recipes like quiche, frittata, hard-boiled, deviled. Yes? Good question. Good question. The question was, what do I feed them, and do I give them a break for the laying? So there is 2 schools of thought, like organic or non, and I pay extra for organic because I really buy all organic food whenever possible. But it's way more expensive, so it's totally up to you. And it's a mash. It's not, what do they call it, pellets? I do. And then it's not as messy. A lot of times they bill it out of their feeder if it's something they don't want. So you kind of have to see. If you switch their food, they may be mad if they like what they had before. And then I don't put any heat lamps or lights in the coop. I don't mind if they take a break for the seasons to let their feathers, come in and, but it's up to you. You can extend their laying time with giving them more light in their coop. Just be careful of fire hazard with that, because if you've got a light on at night and it falls and it hits something, that could catch on fire. So that's a concern there. And we put on the outside, we have a motion light, which helps us keep an eye. And I think it scares critters away, I don't know, but we've had bears. Our first coop, a bear ripped the top of the coop off, and it got one chicken, and the other ones just flew and roosted in the trees. If they are stuck outside, they'll kind of get up high. They're kind of smart, and they'll just hang out in the trees. And then you'll be like hunting for them. Where are you? But yeah, I mean, that's why we went with a tough shed. If you have like a real easy to open kind of chicken situation, you might want to do an electric fence around it. We back to the forest, and a tall chain link fence is not going to do anything. That coyote will jump over it without even touching the fence. So we've lost a few chickens, I can tell you. And an owl can swoop down and grab them. So be out there with them if they're free ranging, and they love to free range. I love to give them at harvest time a pumpkin cut in half. They love that. I give them watermelon when it's hot. And if you're at the store, I just learned at the feed store, if they have the alfalfa laying around and it's on the ground, you can take a few handfuls. That's a treat for them. You can go to farmer's market and ask for their leftover cast-offs of lettuce or, scraps. And you can just double check online what you're allowed to give a chicken. There's certain things that you shouldn't give to your chickens. But as you make your salads and you have leftover stuff, I keep a pile on the counter and then I throw it in their coop. It's really handy. Okay, questions, answers? Yeah. Oh. How do they know? How does a rooster know? You are. I don't know anything about this. Okay. Oh, tips for hens that peck their eggs. Yes. You want to make sure you're collecting your eggs often enough, because if they're laying there too long, they will peck at them. Make sure your nesting boxes are high enough. Sometimes if they lay eggs on the ground, you need to research why they're doing that. It might be where your nesting boxes are. And then you also want to make sure that they have enough food, because if the food runs out, they'll find the food somehow. They'll eat their eggs. Also, I make sure I have that oyster shell. It's a supplement that's in another container for them that makes their eggs stronger, because sometimes they're just so fragile that the chicken just didn't even mean to touch it, and it got a little peck on it. So yeah, you just have to be careful that they're getting enough of those supplements. Calcium. In the winter, I up their protein with certain like chicken treats that say high in protein, so that they're warmer. But I don't give them any extra heat. They're just snug as a bug in the Tough Shed. That's why I love Tough Shed. I love Tough Shed also because half of it is my storage space. So if I wanted to bulk, I could put 5 trash cans in there full of feed at a time if I wanted to. But Shea Meadow, they know exactly how many I order per month. And if I try to order more, they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down, we have other orders here. And so I'd probably have to special order it. I don't usually go down to Tractor Supply, but I do bet it is cheaper. Free ranging also is great because they eat bugs, gnats, aphids. They dig for little things in the dirt. If you cut your grass, if you have a lawn, take all of the lawn and throw it in their run. They love it. It's delicious. Yes, questions? Chicken lifespan, I think 10 to 15 years. Is that not that long? Well, what's important is that the first few years of life is their most productive egg-laying time. And as they get older, they slack off. They're not paying their rent. They slow way down in the winter. Mm-hmm. I like to buy them in winter. So you guys have how many roosters? Oh, you don't? Oh, that's a funny story. I have a funny story. With our first batch of chickens, I know. I don't want that crowing. Anyway, they're supposed to sex them, which is like a kind of a guarantee that you'll get all girls. But we got a rooster. We were like, as it grew up, we're like, you kind of look like a rooster. And then eventually it crowed. We're like, okay. So Tony drove it down Hatchery Lane, dropped it off, and he drove away. And he's looking in the rearview mirror, and he sees the chicken running after him. He had nightmares that at night that chicken was at our slider door pecking the glass. He felt so bad for doing that. And I said, hey, babe, it's circle of life. The coyote's got to eat, right? Do you borrow roosters for like fertilizing eggs and all that, or do you buy your chickens online and do it that way? Okay, where do you buy? What website? Oh, that reminds me. Yes, the chickens will come to only the post office. They won't deliver them to the house. Yeah, that isn't, hopefully, I'm glad that's never happened to me. But I always talk to the postmaster when I have chickens coming that week, and I have them put my phone number also next to their desk. It's your phone number's on the box. And I've heard stories where the driver had the chickens in their lap all the way up the mountain, and they called me immediately, and I was immediately there, and my box was all warmed and ready to go. So, but yeah, if it sat at the post office, that would be terrible. But I haven't had any trouble. Yeah. Okay. They lived. They lived. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Question. Oh yes. Good breeds. Breeds like my number one favorite, Buff Orpington. Soup Buff Orpington. Super hardy, good in cold weather, excellent layer, and its super sweet temperament wouldn't hurt a fly, great with children. And its feathers hardly ever molt. It looks like a show chicken year round. So Buff Orpington, Barred Rocks, same, are very good temperaments. Rhode Island Reds also up there with being good. Americanas, I love them. They have beautiful eggs. Easter eggers, they have whiskers out of their cheeks, and they're super cute. Silkies, this is my first time with a silkie. I don't know how it's going to go, but I just think they're like little Muppets with the cute, oh, little eggs? Yeah, well, I guess I'll have some little eggs. Barred Rock, Lace Windot, um, Black Australorp, and then the White Leghorn, they always gave me, I think they lay brown eggs, even though they're white chickens. Their earlobes have a color, and that's usually the color egg that they lay. And that one is what? The White Leghorn. Yeah, they will lay every day. They're like machines. Easter egger, also known as Aracanas. Yeah, they're so cute, and their feathers. Oh my goodness, I'm crazy for chickens. I love them. They're so fun. There's oh, and my kids named them all, but then we forgot all their names, so I just call them the mamas. Come here, mamas. And they run after me because I always have chicken treats with me, so they're easy to get to go from point A to B because they think, oh, I'm going to have a great snack. Did you have a question? Okay, for how often you clean their coop, if you do the deep litter method in the coop and you put, like we do, under their roost, a catch, we have a plastic kind of, it's actually from an old sandbox that we had for the kids when they were younger, and it's full of shavings, and their droppings are mostly under their roost, and we just pull that out, throw it away, put the thing back in, and add more shavings. So we only have to clean the coop inside twice a year. And the bedding is usually 4 to 8 inches thick in places. So it really keeps it dry, no smell. At this point, we are having a little bit of a fly issue. We have horses in the neighborhood too. And so yeah, go ahead. Mhm. The fly traps, we have two, yes. They're stinky though. Yeah, they do. Mhm. Mhm. Oh yeah, it's incredible. Yes. Yes. Nancy, do you have a question? Mostly over their roost, but no, when they're awake, they wherever they are hanging out. But because of the pine shavings, you don't have to clean very often. You might want to go in and do some like on their roost if it gets like a little bit of poop on there. You can. I mean, they're pretty low maintenance though. Yeah, you scrape it. Yeah. And if you only have a few chickens, don't be scared by flies and stuff. I think that's when you've got a lot of chickens. Yes. A rat issue? Okay, a rat issue. Um, so we did have an issue at one point back. Let me go backward if I can. Oh, hold on. So you'll notice the front of my coop. Oh, just kidding. It has a deck on it, and it's not laying on a cement foundation. It's laying on the ground. So we have some things nesting under there, and they were digging this way under the run, and so we laid more of the hardware cloth, and then they couldn't come up anymore, and then we put more, filled it in as much as we could with dirt. But yeah, I mean, oh, you have 8 chickens now. Okay. Hardware cloth, yeah. Um, rodents can get into really tight spaces. So um, you're going to have to try to figure out where they're coming in from. And then is your food in a sealed container as well? Like the storage sometimes? Yeah. You brave chickens. My chickens are chicken. That's true. Do you guys have any advice about rodent problems? Use traps. I actually had to call this this last year was did anyone have rodent problems because it was an epidemic in Big Bear. Our neighbors had to call Terminex and have a complete seal of their house because they were in their garage. And yes, Justin? Oh, I'm sorry. Are you still recording me? Because I'm going way over, aren't I? Okay. Okay. So the epidemic of rats and mice, we also called the local guy up here, and he said it was a 6-month wait. I said, put me on your waiting list. You dump gopher poison under the house, blue pellets in the foundation. They totally shrivel up into nothing. You are on top of things, that's for sure. Yeah. Okay, great advice. Yeah, we have a few of those traps that the professionals use, and you have to open it with a key, and there's like rat poison in there. Um, and so we took care of it that way, but you want to make sure you clear all the wood piles that are just near the coop where they usually live in a wood pile nearby. Yeah. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. We should start doing that, putting the poison for the rodents at the base of the woodpile or around the back of the enclosure. Right. The birds are not going to come eat it. Exactly. That's great. That's great advice. You guys have any more questions? Yeah? Um, so you're saying your coop and your run would be on a rock surface with on bark? Um, I think they really need dirt if you can clear an area for the run. Yeah, swimming pool filled with dirt. Yeah, they do need earth or grass or something interesting for them to play with too. Yeah, yeah. And you could even put the coop above. I don't know if it's like, see, some coops where they're in their house, they poop through the wire, and that takes care of a lot of the, material that you have to, the pine shavings, because it's going out of their little house onto the ground. That's how we used to have ours. And then we could move it around into a clean spot. So that's kind of handy if you only have a few chickens and it's not too big of a coop, you can roll it, which is so fun. Like if you're just only going to get 4. But if I could do it all over again, I would lay a concrete foundation, put a tough shed on top of it. No rodents would dig up underneath. They're insulated. You just put a automatic door in there. You have half of it for storage, half of it for chickens. And this is if you want 12 or more chickens, it's a good idea to have a bigger space. But there's a calculator online how much room a chicken needs in their enclosure and how many nesting boxes. I believe they say 1 nesting box per 4 birds, for every 4 birds. So, but we have a little bit more than that just in case, because we could. Any other questions? Gosh, I have a file folder in my desk with the warranty information in it. I could text it to you. I don't remember the name of it, but it's excellent. I got it online. Yeah. It's been a lifesaver, really, because we're super forgetful. And we're always like, in the middle of the night, did you shut the chicken door? Any other questions? Yes. Oh my goodness, I did calculate this before, but off the top of my head, for the organic, I pay about $100 for 2 bags of scratch and peck layer at Shea, and that lasts me a month. Well, I would say that's 7 adult chickens. I haven't added the other ones yet. So it's corn mainly, but I don't really know. I should read the package. But you can feed them your scraps. If I have a head of lettuce, you don't want to give them a round, what is it called, iceberg. It has no nutritional value. They'll eat and eat and eat and just waste away because they're just eating water, basically. Romaine is really good. Dark leafy greens they love. But you just want to check online before you give them something that it's okay. Certain things are kind of poisonous to them. So, and they don't like citrus. They won't touch it. You don't want to give them that. Yeah, for the smell, you can put lavender. There's a lot of other herbs that I haven't tried it. We just go in there, pull in the nesting boxes. We pull out the little AstroTurf that I put in there, and we shake it out and put it back in. I mean, we don't do a lot of like spraying vinegar, and we just clean out the shavings. We let it stay dusty in there. It's really low maintenance. Okay, so in your handouts and everything, there's more information on chicks, enclosures, requirements, and breeds, and other fun information. So, and I plugged Shea Meadow Feed Store because they have really helped me, and that's where we got our Tough Shed. And they sell baby chicks as well. I've never bought their baby chicks, but they come every spring, and they put chicks for sale sign outside. They also are selling ducks and turkeys. I would love to keep a turkey and call it Thanksgiving. I don't get too attached, to stuff. So I might, if a chicken was like egg bound, I might just eat it. Oh, that's something that can happen. Oh, I didn't talk about that. It's terrible. So they have a vent in the back where the eggs come out. It's like only so big. And sometimes these chickens have a big egg coming through. I've had double yolks before, like big chicken eggs. And they can get stuck. and that's called being egg bound. And if they can't get it out, they become toxic with sepsis or whatever, and they just die. So you want to try to help them get it out. I don't know if you guys know Francie Martin. She moved to Texas. She was kind of my mentor with the chickens, and she was like, Katie, get those gloves on, get some petroleum jelly. And I said, are you for real? You know, she'll do anything for a chicken. So sometimes I put their little butt in a warm, cozy little bath, and they get all relaxed. And sometimes that helps. But yeah, I go to certain measures sometimes to save a chicken. And then if, just like baby chickens get pasty butt, the adults can get kind of like clogged back there. It just kind of builds up, sticks to their feathers. So you just have to keep an eye on it. And I have had to like clean the butt of a chicken before. It's not glamorous, but they're so grateful. And then pow. Yeah, one time we were trying to leave on vacation, and I had this chicken with a stuck egg. I could just not help her, and it was really sad, but we had to go on vacation, and so I put her in a crate, hoping it would pass, and she passed on. So if you order chickens, order 1 or 2 extra. You'll be glad you did, because things happen. Sometimes they keel over and you're like, I think it just had a heart attack. I don't know what happened. I have no idea why they died. It's unfortunate. Well, they act a little different. They might sit down next to the water and not be out with the others. So it's good to kind of keep an eye on what they're doing, and then I'll just kind of look at her a little more closely, and then you can tell. They might even lay down on their side or start panting really uncomfortably. If they do pant, sometimes that just means they're hot. But hopefully you never have to have an egg-bound chicken. I bought this really exotic purple chicken, and she would lay double yolks every day. And I was like, you poor thing, these eggs are huge. And she eventually just couldn't pass one, and I felt so bad, but I could see it coming. Yes. Poor woman. I just kind of like watch him walk around and see if I can catch a glimpse of what's going on back there. Have you had egg-bound chickens? No? Oh, surprising. Yeah. Are you guys currently selling your chickens at all? For your meat chickens, are you selling chicken at all, or do you just keep them to freeze them for your stockpile? Wow. Yeah. That's the hardest part, right? The defeathering. Wow. Wow. Cool. Yes. I need to hook up with you later. Get your information. I bought half a cow last week, bought a freezer for it. I bought the freezer online, yeah. Yeah. It's full of meat. 3 weeks. Hmm. Oh, did you buy it from Home Depot? Lowe's? Lowe's? Oh, you'll get it soon, I think. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Has the city bothered you guys at all? Good. So yeah, guys, just give your neighbors, have a little talk with your neighbors. I think it's always good to get a feel. They might be like, "Go hog wild. We need chickens. We'd love some eggs, you know." Oh, good. Good. Oh, they crow in the middle of the night? Oh, that's not bad. I've heard about that. Yeah, that is. Yeah. Just don't put your coop by your bedroom window or anyone else's bedroom window. Any other questions? All good? I'm here later if you guys want to talk and get to know you. And thank you for coming. Yeah, bye.